Okay, should be running now.
All right. Yeah, so this is a classic of California's landscape. This is a sage. This is Salvia leucophylla, and again, it attracts a lot of bees, a lot of native bees and other pollinators, and is a familiar sight in a lot of California sagebrush scrub, which is a plant community found throughout a lot of California. Over here we have another classic California native plant, Ceanothus. And this particular Ceanothus is a ground cover, so it'll kind of slowly creep down this whole, the berm part of the swale. We've got a couple different flower plants. We've got some, this is a lovely herb called coyote mint or monardella. It's really nice and fragrant, kind of like a peppermint. Here's another lovely kind of mint family plant called Yerba Buena, and this is like the monardella or the coyote mint there. This was used by the indigenous people of California as a herbal tea. It's really fragrant, the bumblebees really love it, and it's a great low growing ground cover. We've also got some nice ferns here, and this is another ground cover. This is an oxalis, which a lot of people are familiar with oxalis as kind of a weed growing throughout their gardens and landscapes. This is actually called redwood sorrel, and it's an oxalis found in the shade of the redwood forest. And it won't spread too much, it'll actually just kind of grow slowly as a clumping ground cover. And here we've got Pearly Everlasting. This is a really nice flowering plant that flowers through this time of the year when a lot of other things aren't flowering. It's just kind of beginning right now. We've got another classic kind of riparian or species that grows along water courses, and this is called elderberry. I think this particular one is red elderberry or Sambucus racemosa, and it has a lot of great medicinal qualities and other ethnobotanical uses, but it's a great forage plant for lots of butterflies and bees again, and a lot of birds really savor the berries and the flowers that come off of this plant. Yarrow here is another classic California native plant, used as a poultice or poultice for wounds and scrapes and burns, but also in cold care teas. It's what's known as an insectiary, or a plant that attracts a lot of beneficial insects because of its kind of clumping display or array of flowers. So it's really nice. Comes in lots of different colors. The white is kind of the classic form that we see around here. We have lots of different grasses too, just examples of different shapes, sizes, heights, and growing conditions. And we also have a lot of things that aren't quite grasses, but they're grass-like. And that is a lot of the juncus that we have that's growing over there. We can kind of get a little closer look. Now, juncus are a really unique type of grass. Well, actually, again, they're not quite a grass. They're called graminoids, actually, which means they're grass-like. And the nice thing about juncus, they're commonly grown in wetland areas because their roots release oxygen, which allows them to grow in anaerobic conditions where there isn't a lot of oxygen, which means they can grow completely submerged or inundated with water and still do really well. And actually, that oxygen that they're pumping out of their roots helps to purify the water that they're growing in. This is another one similar to that called carex, and carex is a type of sedge, and actually juncus is the common name for juncus is rush. And one of the ways people tell them apart is rushes are round. As you can see here, the blades are round. Rushes are round, and sedges have edges. So if you look here, you can see the sedge has a distinct flat edge to it. So that's one way you can tell the two apart. As you can see here, we've got a lot of the juncus growing in and amongst some of these pieces of the native grass sod. And the idea is that this is going to be kind of a collection pond. This is going to be where the first and most of the water that enters the system is going to sit until it either infiltrates down or overflows the little spillway we're standing on here and enters the rest of the swale. So the idea is that this area might actually be sitting in water for part of the time, and that's why we have a lot of the juncus there. So I don't know if you want to ask Jacqueline maybe about some other plants.
She back yet?
Yeah, she's back. Maybe she could mention about some of the other ones that she
Excuse me. Oh, can you guys give me your contact information? Can I send you guys a video?
Alright, how was that?
Good. The food was awesome.
Yeah.
I feel bad for all the people who were like, can I buy some?
Oh,
like,
I know.
Just didn't know that they were doing stuff.
That's too bad.
Are you videotaping or?
Yes.
Okay.
Alright, this is Jacqueline. This is
Hi.
Davan, by the way. Name?
Davan.
Davan. Sorry about that. Name, major, why you're doing this. And
My name is Jacqueline Surratt, so I'm a biology grad student. I work for Grounds. I've been working here for over 3 years, and we've been putting a lot of interesting designs all over campus, and this is just the latest of many interesting things that we've been doing. So.
can you give us an introduction to all the plants you guys put in?
Sure. Well, first we pulled out all the sod, and we didn't use herbicides, which was great. We just had a crew of people here shoveling and digging it out, which is a lot of work. But and a lot of it we were able to just keep on site and turn over the sod and bury it to kill it. But we brought in all native plants. Almost all of them are locally native, so native to San Francisco County. But the main interesting feature is the swale and all the sod that we rolled out in the swale area. That is four different California native plants or grasses that are adapted for seasonal inundation of water, so they can tolerate being underwater and they can tolerate being dry. So when we finish the design, we'll cut into the downspout of the science building, and all the water falling on the science building roof will go through the downspout, or part of the roof will channel through the downspout and into the swale, and will prevent every year we'll prevent around 60,000 gallons of water from going into the storm drain, and instead it'll go into the landscape and percolate down into the groundwater.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, yeah.
Davin gave me a plant tour of the plants down here, and some of the sedge and the rushes over there. Can you tell us about the plants on next to the sidewalk, please? If you're cool with that?
So those are a lot of colorful plants that tolerate drought.